Welcome back to Fast Market here on the Schwab Network. It's time for cash tags. For that, let's bring in our next guest, and that's going to be Landon Swan, co-founder of LikeFolio. Welcome back to the show, Landon. Do we have... I do not believe we have Landon at this point. Hopefully we get
Hey guys, sorry about that.
Oh, no worries.
You with me?
Now we've got you. All right.
We do. Happy Monday, guys. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Landon. So Home Depot, I mean, it's, relatively flat year over year, up about 3.5% or so. It's kind of, fallen from highs that we saw just a couple months ago. When listening to Walmart last week and, maybe the guidance moving forward kind of hit that stock even though it was at all-time highs, is there some concern? Are you guys seeing any concerns on consumer spending? And what do you guys think of Home Depot here?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely concerns. I mean, when we look at Home Depot, this is, they've dropped, 36 points in the last 10 calendar days. I mean, it's, everything's kind of sold off, I guess. But, they've moved down. They moved the wrong way. And a lot of the data is kind of pointing at that. I mean, when we look at web traffic, app usage, both of those are down. And that's kind of, web traffic is sort of, what we look for when it comes to their do-it-yourself type consumers. And then, of course, the pro app usage is what we look for on the pro side. They're doing better than Lowe's. That's the good news. But they're still negative. You don't want to see negative, of course. And their pro app usage is also down significantly, about 15% on a year-over-year basis. And that's obviously concerning because they've got that healthy split of pros versus do-it-yourselfers. And of course, you can see the cyclical nature. This month is not as important as summer months, generally speaking, but still down year over year is bad. So this is corrected for that cyclicality, but down 15% is a concern. I think a lot of it just has to do with things that they can't control. I mean, the housing market is tough right now. You got high rates, you got low inventory, high home prices. There's just not a lot of turnover, and they need that turnover. Every time somebody buys a new house, the first thing they do is they go to Home Depot and start thinking about projects and hiring contractors to do things. And the less home sales, it's worse for Home Depot. So that, I think, is a big problem, and it's expected to remain stagnant for 2025. Also, a lot of people are putting off those big ticket items and just the large projects. The purchases that are over $1,000 at Home Depot are down almost 7% on a year-over-year basis. I think you can contribute that to high borrowing costs. If you're going to get a HELOC to do one of these projects, it's a very high rate. So maybe you're going to wait on that. And there's also some economic uncertainty that we're getting from consumers just in the data that we see. So overall, I think there's just tough macro conditions. I don't think it's Home Depot doing anything necessarily wrong. I mean, they completed that SRS acquisition that added, that will add about $6.5 billion in annual revenue. It will tighten up their margins a little bit, but still, it's going to solidify them in the pro market. They've done things to increase efficiency, but overall, I think a lot of it just has to do with just the macro conditions being kind of wrong for Home Depot and Lowe's right now. But Home Depot, as we're seeing, is doing slightly better. But tell that to investors over the last 10 days, they're not happy. So this is a tough time right now. The data for us is fairly bearish, but the stock move is moved so sharply recently that it kind of balances our score out. So we're kind of neutral going into this one with the data or a lot of the bad news sort of priced in.
That's exactly my point that I was going to get at, Landon. And if you're watching stocks like Home Depot, you understand where you are. You understand the housing market. You understand stingy, high interest rates, and maybe the projections going forward. Is this a name, Landon? Here's what I need from you today is this. We know what the data is on Home Depot. They've got lower ticket size, lower comp sales, lower operating margins. But here's the thing, Landon. If interest rates were to come down significantly and the 10-year yield and mortgage rates were to come down significantly, does that immediately make Home Depot a buy here? Because if interest rates come down, a lot of this is going to free up. Housing has been under pressure, and Home Depot is a second derivative of housing, let's face it, and the high interest rates have hurt that. Is Home Depot a buy the minute mortgage rates start to drop?
Yeah, I think there's an absolute inverse relationship between mortgage rates and Home Depot stock value. And once you see that, I mean, everything that I talked about, the downside to Home Depot was basically either the housing market or high interest rates to borrow costs to, put off large projects, economic uncertainty. If you see that come down and houses start moving again, then this is a bargain at 385 or 383, whatever it is right now. So yeah, absolutely. And now, we need to see a dip over, I'd love to see it, get down into the low sixes and forward from there. But yeah, I think absolutely if rates come down, houses start moving, people get a little bit more comfortable borrowing, doing those projects, then you got both of those coming back. So I think that is so much of their business is new purchases and large projects that we have to see that come. And, again, it's just a tough business to be in because a lot of what you depend on as a Home Depot, investor is out of your control. It's out of the company's control. It's all about interest rates in the housing market. So yes, absolutely, I agree. And I think that investors are tired of seeing these comp sales decrease. I think the last report was the 8th quarter in a row where comp sales were down. Now October, the last quarter there was up. A lot of that, I think, speculation is that was hurricane related, and we're not sure if that's going to continue. So, they've got to break this streak of 8 quarters in a row of comp sales down. But I think a lot of it is out of their control, and unfortunately, we just have to wait. I think, you guys can give me your opinion. I do think interest rates are probably going to come down, and couldn't be soon enough for Home Depot investors.
So I'm going to give you my scenario here that if interest rates start to come down in the environment that we are economically, that means something's breaking at this point, Landon, just because, hey, the jobs market's robust, people are working, wages are going up, but if interest rates start coming down in this environment, inflation starts coming down, does that mean something's broke where, hey, this consumer that's already been under pressure and the prices aren't coming down at the store, that traffic's going to dry up a little bit and maybe inflation's still going to be sticky? Is that a concern? And if you've seen that with anything else, consumer sentiment data is a little bit weaker than expected. We get some more consumer numbers tomorrow with consumer confidence. There's still some, overhang there, right? At this point, Landon?
Yeah, I think obviously any kind of move like that is going to be dissected and analyzed from multiple angles. Yes, I would agree. You don't want to see weakness in the general economy, and if that's what it signals, that's generally bad, obviously. However, if I'm a Home Depot investor, I'll take that chance because I need houses moving. Right. I need that turnover. I need people moving into a new house, looking to remodel the bathroom, kitchen, whatever, and start hiring pros again and buying new refrigerators and new appliances over $1,000. All that's again down 7% year over year. They've got to see those kind of purchases, and I think for Home Depot specifically, I'd take that as an investor. I'd take that trade. I'd take the consumer's a little weaker, but houses are going to start moving. As an investor, I'd be like, sure, that sounds good to me. Now, for the rest of my portfolio, maybe not, but just for Home Depot, I'd take that trade.
All right, great breakdown for us. Relatively neutral going into this report. Appreciate it, Landon.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yep, that's Landon Swan, co-founder at LikeFolio, breaking down Home Depot for us. Kev, if you